Welcome back to Robots vs. Vampires. I'm Adrian Smith.
And I'm Julia Jones.
And we are thrilled to have you back with us for another deep dive into the world where sci-fi and fantasy collide.
It's always a blast exploring these uncharted territories, right?
Yeah, today we're looking at a story that throws a cynical vampire, teenager, and a human child.
Ooh, interesting.
With an extraordinary secret together.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
The big question is, could this child hold the key to reshaping the destiny of vampires as we know it?
It's a story that really challenges the traditional vampire narrative,
Yeah.
Introducing those elements of science and choice that make it just so compelling.
Right. So let's meet our protagonists.
Sure.
First up, we have Nikolai, a vampire teen who's,
Yes.
disillusioned with the whole eternal darkness thing.
Can imagine.
He's been tasked with keeping an eye on Timmy,
Okay.
a 5-year-old human boy who, unbeknownst to him,
Right.
holds a significance that vampires can only begin to fathom.
Wow. So right from the start, we have this element of mystery. What's interesting is how the story sets up Nikolai's initial cynicism.
Mm.
He views his assignment as like tedious surveillance.
Right.
He doesn't grasp the potential importance of Timmy, yet as he observes Timmy's carefree joy, we start to see a crack in that jaded facade.
Yeah, it's that classic contrast, right?
Yes.
The world-weary immortal against the innocent, vibrant child.
It's a tale as old as time.
Exactly. But what exactly makes Timmy so special?
That's the million-dollar question, right?
Yeah, he's described as this whirlwind of energy. Sticky fingers, endless questions, your typical 5-year-old.
Yeah, sounds about right.
What's caught the attention of the vampires? What's the hook?
Well, it's Timmy's remarkably potent immune system.
Oh.
He heals at an accelerated rate, shrugging off illnesses that would lay low even the strongest human.
So he's like Wolverine.
Yeah, kind of. And
Okay.
this has caught the attention of human scientists.
Okay.
They're baffled by his blood.
Makes sense.
They see it as a potential scientific breakthrough.
So there's this layer of scientific inquiry
Right.
intertwined with the supernatural element.
Absolutely.
The scientists are focused on the biological marvel of Timmy's blood.
Uh-huh.
But the vampires sense something more.
Yeah.
Something that resonates with their own mystical nature.
Precisely. And this is where Nikolai has his aha moment.
Okay, I like where this is going.
Yeah, what if Timmy's blood isn't just a medical anomaly?
Right.
What if it holds the power to alter the very essence of being a vampire?
Wow.
Maybe even reverse the curse or grant them immunity to their age-old vulnerabilities.
It's a huge leap going from observing a child's rapid healing
Yeah.
to contemplating a fundamental shift in vampire existence.
True, but that's what makes the story so captivating.
I agree. This is where the story takes a thrilling turn, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Nikolai, fueled by this newfound possibility, decides to act.
Okay, so he's not just going to sit around theorizing.
No, he's a vampire of action. He hatches a plan to procure a sample of Timmy's blood,
Bold move.
believing the Coven's alchemists can unlock its secrets.
Oh, so he's not going rogue entirely.
Not yet, anyway.
Right, which leads him to infiltrate a high-tech human research facility.
Yeah, talk about a risky move.
Right, not exactly a walk in the park for a vampire who's supposed to be lurking in the shadows.
It's a classic case of how did we even get in there,
Exactly.
But he manages to obtain the blood sample relatively easily,
Okay.
highlighting, his supernatural abilities.
Right.
But the escape proves far more challenging.
Oh.
Yeah, he ends up in a tense confrontation,
Oh, wow.
forced to fight his way out with Timmy by his side.
Wait, he brings Timmy along.
Yeah.
That seems reckless even for a rebellious teen.
It is a bit impulsive, but it's a pivotal moment in the story.
Okay, I see it.
Yeah, we see Nikolai, the cynical loner, risking his own safety
Right.
to protect this human child.
It's a hint that his motivations might be evolving
Exactly.
beyond mere self-preservation.
It's becoming more than just a personal quest for a cure. He's developing a sense of responsibility for Timmy.
Yeah.
Perhaps even a grudging affection.
It's a classic unlikely pairing, right?
Absolutely. And his escape is aided by Bex,
Okay.
another outcast from the Coven,
Right.
who serves as his getaway driver.
Okay, so they're like a little team now.
Yeah, picture them speeding away in a beat-up van, 80s rock blaring on the radio.
That's a nice touch of humor amidst the tension.
Right. It injects a bit of levity.
It's an unexpected and oddly endearing scene.
And as they make their escape,
Yeah.
Nikolai looks at Timmy, and for the first time in a long time, he smiles.
Oh,
This seemingly insignificant gesture speaks volumes.
I bet.
He's gone from yearning for an end to his suffering
Right.
to potentially holding the key to offering hope to his entire kind.
Wow, that's a powerful transformation.
The cynic turned potential savior.
But what happens when he returns to the coven with this stolen vial of hope?
Oh, yeah.
I can't imagine the elders were too pleased.
You're right to be skeptical.
Yeah.
They are horrified. Viewing Timmy as a threat.
Right.
And Nikolai's actions as a blatant betrayal.
So much for a hero's welcome.
Right. But Nikolai, emboldened by what he's experienced, stands defiant.
He's not backing down.
Not one bit. He presents the vial, challenging them with the possibility of a cure.
Wow.
A way out of their shadowed existence.
That's quite a dramatic confrontation.
It is. He's directly challenging centuries of tradition and fear.
So the stakes are incredibly high.
They are. And the master alchemist, intrigued by the potential of Timmy's blood, quickly confirms its extraordinary nature.
I knew it.
Yeah, it could indeed hold the power to reverse the curse or grant them immunity to their traditional weaknesses.
This is a monumental revelation.
Absolutely.
It throws the entire vampire world into disarray.
It does.
Their very definition, their existence is suddenly in question.
It raises fundamental questions about choice and destiny.
So it's not just about a scientific breakthrough.
No.
It's about the very core of what it means to be a vampire.
The elders are now faced with an unprecedented dilemma.
Yeah.
Cling to their ancient ways.
Right.
Or embrace a future fraught with uncertainty.
What a fantastic cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Will they choose to evolve to step into the light? Or will fear keep them chained to the darkness?
That, my friend, is the question that drives the rest of this story.
And we'll delve into the complexities of their decision in the next part of our deep dive.
Oh, wait.
So we're left with this incredible tension, right?
Yeah.
The elders, steeped in tradition and fear, are confronted with a choice that could redefine their entire existence.
It's a huge turning point for them.
It is. And in the middle of it all,
Yeah.
you have Timmy,
Right, little Tim.
oblivious to the weight of the moment,
Yeah.
adding his own unique touch to their ancient chamber.
It's a striking image, isn't it?
It is.
This juxtaposition of ancient power and innocent playfulness.
Totally.
The fate of an entire species hanging in the balance.
Right.
While a 5-year-old is happily making art
Yeah.
with whatever's at hand.
It's almost comedic,
It is.
yet it underscores a crucial point.
What's that?
Timmy's presence, his very being, challenges the vampire's perception of themselves and the world.
He represents a potential they never considered.
Exactly.
A future they couldn't have predicted.
And it's Nikolai who seems to grasp this most acutely.
You think so?
I do. He sees the fear that paralyzes the elders.
Right.
The grip of tradition that threatens to stifle this newfound possibility.
It's like they're stuck in their ways.
Totally.
Yeah.
And in a moment of breathtaking defiance,
Okay.
he takes Timmy by the hand
He does.
and walks out into the sunrise.
He walks into the sunrise.
He does.
But that's supposed to be fatal for vampires.
It is. It's like their kryptonite.
Exactly. And that's what makes this act so powerful.
I agree.
Nikolai is literally stepping into the unknown.
Yeah.
Defying the very limitations that have defined his kind for centuries.
Right.
He's embracing the potential for change.
Yeah.
Even if it means pain.
Right.
Even if it means death.
He's no longer just rebelling against the elders.
No.
He's rebelling against the very nature of what it means to be a vampire.
It's a huge statement.
It is. He's choosing hope over fear. A future that might not even exist yet.
It's a profound act of faith.
I think so too. Fueled by his encounter with Timmy.
Right. And the way the story describes it.
Yeah.
The sunlight burning his skin.
Yeah.
Yet a smile on his face.
Yeah.
It's both terrifying and beautiful.
It is. He's accepting the consequences of his choice.
Right.
Embracing the possibility of transformation.
Even if it comes at a great personal cost.
That's powerful stuff.
Yeah.
It's a stunning visual.
It is.
One that stays with you long after you finish the story.
What about Timmy, though?
Yeah, what about Timmy?
How does he react to all of this?
Well, Timmy, being a 5-year-old, is completely unfazed.
Well, of course.
To him, it's just a cool adventure.
Yeah, he's just along for the ride.
He's getting a piggyback ride from a vampire.
Classic Timmy.
It highlights the innocence of childhood.
Right.
The way children often accept the extraordinary, without question.
It really emphasizes the contrast between their perspectives, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
Nikolai is grappling with a life-altering decision, while Timmy just sees it as a fun outing.
Like a field trip.
It adds another layer of complexity to their relationship.
Absolutely. And the story ends on this poignant image of them walking into the dawn, the unknown stretching before them.
Yeah.
It's a powerful symbol of hope.
Of embracing the possibilities that come with change.
Right, even when those possibilities are terrifying.
It's a beautifully ambiguous ending, isn't it?
It is.
It leaves us with so many questions.
Like what?
What will become of Nikolai? What choice will the elders make?
Yeah.
Will Timmy's blood truly change the vampire world?
Those are questions we're left to ponder.
We are.
But what the story makes clear is that change is possible.
You think so?
I do, even for creatures bound by ancient curses and seemingly immutable laws.
Interesting.
It suggests that hope and the courage to embrace the unknown can challenge even the most deeply ingrained traditions.
I like that. It really makes you think about the whole concept of curses, in fantasy and sci-fi.
Yeah, curses are such a classic trope.
They are werewolves transforming into the full moon.
Right.
Vampires doomed to eternal darkness.
It's like a staple.
It is. These curses, they often drive the narrative right.
Totally. They shape the characters and their destinies.
Exactly. But what's fascinating about this story is how it subverts that traditional idea.
Oh, how so?
Well, instead of presenting the vampire curse as this unbreakable supernatural affliction,
Right.
it introduces the possibility of a scientific explanation, a potential cure.
So it's not just magic anymore.
Exactly. It raises the question.
What's that?
If vampirism can be cured, or at least its effects mitigated, does it remain a curse? Or does it become a choice?
That's a really interesting point.
If you remove the inevitability of the curse, the inescapability of it, it changes the entire dynamic.
I see what you mean.
Suddenly being a vampire isn't about fate or some ancient transgression.
Right.
It becomes a matter of individual choice.
And that raises a whole host of ethical and philosophical questions.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, like, if given the choice, would you want to be a vampire?
That's the big question.
Right.
Immortality, superhuman strength, the ability to compel others.
Those are some alluring powers.
They are.
Yeah.
But then there's the aversion to sunlight, the constant need for blood, the isolation from humanity.
Yeah, it's a complex decision.
It is. One that forces you to weigh the benefits against the costs.
It's like the classic superhero dilemma.
Isn't it? Yeah?
With great power comes great responsibility.
And potentially great sacrifice.
You'd have to consider what you're willing to give up.
Exactly. What aspects of your humanity you're willing to compromise.
And that's what makes this story so compelling.
It really is.
It doesn't offer easy answers or simple solutions.
No.
It leaves us with the question, what would you choose?
Yeah.
And how would that choice shape your identity?
Right.
Your values?
Your very being.
It's a question that lingers long after the story ends.
It does, prompting you to reflect on your own values and beliefs.
What would you sacrifice for power?
Right.
For eternal life?
For a chance to escape the limitations of human existence.
It goes beyond just vampires.
It does. It's a question that goes beyond the realm of fantasy and sci-fi. Right. Touching on fundamental aspects of the human condition.
The desire for transcendence, the fear of mortality, the struggle to define ourselves in a world of infinite possibilities.
This story, with its blend of science fantasy and philosophical inquiry, really takes us on a journey.
It does. It challenges our preconceived notions.
About what?
About vampires.
Okay.
About curses, about choice, and ultimately about ourselves.
It reminds us that even in the face of seemingly insurmountable challenge,
there's always the possibility of hope, of change, of transformation.
I like that, whether that transformation comes from scientific discovery or an act of personal courage.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that the future is never truly set in stone.
Well said. This has been a truly fascinating deep dive.
It has.
Into a story that's both thrilling and thought-provoking.
It's left us with more questions than answers.
Always a good sign.
Which, in my opinion, is the hallmark of a truly great story.
It sparks our imagination.
It does. Challenges our assumptions and leaves us with a sense of wonder and possibility.
And isn't that what we all crave from a good story?
Absolutely. Well, folks, that's all the time we have for today's episode.
Oh, Reddit.
I know, right? We hope you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of robots vs. vampires.
Be sure to rate, follow, and share the show if you enjoyed this unique blend of sci-fi, fantasy, and philosophical exploration.
We have plenty more captivating tales where this one came from.
We do.
And until next time, keep your minds open to the infinite possibilities of the universe.
Sounds good to me.
Who knows what wonders await us?
I can't wait to find out.
In the realm where robots and vampires collide.